Hello and welcome again to another episode of Leading from Alignment with our good friend, coach, and mentor, John Opalewski. How are you today, John?
Hey, Jim, I'm doing good. It's good to see you. Good to visit with you as always.
As always, yes, it is. Good to have friends for sure.
It
So
really is.
we as I look out my window, there's a strange sight today. It
Yes.
isn't completely stark white. It isn't like I'm looking at a black and white. I'm now when I open it up, it's Wizard of Oz after Dorothy opens the door in the land of Oz. There's color, there's green, there's flowers, there's allergies. And you and I both know after senior pastoring and pastoring youth pastoring, summer provides some certain opportunities and some certain challenges. So why don't you
Right.
tell us about episode 187 today? Where are we heading?
Yeah, sure. The title of it is called Preparing for a Time Off This Summer. And this is actually the first of a two-parter.
Yeah.
Jim, when this comes out, we'll be nearing the summer months.
Yeah.
And boy, it is a beautiful day today. It feels like summer uh,
It's great.
today. And we love
Yeah.
it here. If you're a pastor here in Michigan, the summer months can be intriguing. You know, the lakes in Michigan, the
Oh,
beautiful lakes are
yeah.
like weekend magnets that
Yeah.
draw your people away in what seems to be droves sometimes. And I'm sure pastors in other states where summer seems short like it does here, can relate to that.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Jim, that more pastors tell me in July they want to quit
Yeah.
than in any other month of the year. And that
Yeah.
has held true for, I don't know, 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
Uh, we get the phone calls in July saying, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
I think I'm in transition. And it's interesting that when we say, hey, let's just wait for 4 weeks and see how you feel. We'll talk about something else.
Yeah.
And that feeling seems to pass. Um, and
Yeah.
and so I want to talk about that, and then in the next episode, want to talk about how a pastor can actually prepare for their own time away this
Yes.
summer.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to do that over 187 and 188. Today
Awesome.
in 187, I think what I'd like to do, Jim, is deal with a leader's thinking or process or perspective on summer.
Yeah.
Just a little bit ago, you told me that
Yeah.
in summer, pastors, it seems, it might not be, but it seems that pastors work twice as hard for half the results.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
wondered, could you unpack that thought for a bit? What did you
Yeah.
mean by that?
I think if we're not careful, the things that we measure are the things we see above the surface. So we see grass, we don't see roots. And we value the growth, right? We value numbers that speak of success in ministry. We want to see numerical people attending. We want to see dollars given. We want to see programs with enough leaders. We want to see healthy, abundant things. But here's the problem is, if you work in a factory 6 7 days a week, 8 12 hours a day, no windows, and you got the family cabin up north, and the kids are out of school, and you've got your 2 weeks vacation. It's hard to blame people for being healthy enough to take time off, enjoy their
Right.
family, and make memories. But that doesn't mean it helps what we see above the ground as leaders in a church. It's a very difficult season because, again, it seems like you work twice as hard to achieve half as much. You could put, twice as much energy into a big Sunday, but there's half as many new people, and a lot of your regulars are gone. It's hard to get traction and consistency over the summer. So if you can't focus, if it's not a good time, rather, to focus on what's above the ground, it's a great time to focus on what's beneath the ground, the roots. So
Yeah.
one of the things we did in youth ministry that followed me into senior pastoring is we do not fight summer. It
Yeah.
has a culture all its own.
That's so good.
I like to think of surfing, even though I've been surfing once and it was terrible. But that thought of, you're fighting a wave or you're surfing a wave. Summertime is a wave. You don't create it, you can't manipulate it, you can't change it. It is what it is, and you
Yeah.
can use it to create the momentum that specific wave creates, or you can stand there and get pummeled by it and
Yeah.
wonder if you should ever surf again. And I think that's what's happening in July as we're fighting this tide of summer. And don't celebrate it, enjoy it,
Yeah.
facilitate it, let it be your servant. Don't let it be your master by taking other things that are just as valuable in October They're just harder to do in October, but you can do them now. So
Yeah,
that'd be my suggestion: is look at what you can do really well in the summertime, and trust me, you'll be healthier in the fall.
yeah. You know what? I don't know who told me this, Jim, but I was probably 30 years old and
Yeah,
a lead pastor and distressed that
yeah,
that people were gone in the summer. And I don't know who it was, but somebody tapped me on the shoulder at some event and said, "Hey, John, people need to go on vacation, you know." Uh,
yes, yeah, they do.
and I thought, okay, that's true. And it took a lot of the pressure off that I was
Yeah,
basically self-imposed pressure for me.
yeah,
Now I know that in some churches that's not always the case, that sometimes that pressure is coming from external sources like, hey, where is everybody?
yeah,
And the underlying message is what's wrong with you as a leader, right? Um,
yes, yeah,
but so much of my struggle with this whole thought process about summer and how to look at it was really self-imposed, was coming from the inside, not really from outside pressure.
yeah.
Um, and Jim, you mentioned to me when we were discussing this idea for the podcast that maybe summer is a time to grow deeper and
Yes, yeah,
wider. And I wondered, if it would be a good use of our time to talk about. I know there's a lot of ways that we could unpack this, but I'm thinking about two ways or two
hmm
main areas, and I'd love to for us just to focus on that for the remainder
yeah,
of our time, if that sounds all right to you.
yeah, yeah. So you got a couple of ways? Like I might have
Yeah, I
mentioned.
got a couple ways,
Yeah,
and and if you've got something you want to add,
yeah,
we can do more than two. But I think the first thing that's on my mind when it comes to summer is just going deeper and wider personally.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
A time to really focus in on your walk with the Lord more than ever. One of my clients said this to me, and it made so much sense, Jim. He said, I'm going to live at the pace of my people during the summer. I'm
that's a
going to,
beautiful thing.
and I thought,
Yeah,
wow, I love that thought
yeah,
process. He says,
yeah,
things slow down for our people in the summer. The church calendar slows down in
yeah,
the summer to a large degree. And I'm going to just go, you talked about going with the wave, right? I'm going to
yeah,
go with that
yeah.
pace. And so I think if we do, that opens up some opportunities for us, right? To
Yes,
spend more, it sounds so simplistic, but spend more time with the Lord and
yeah,
really developing that inner part of our life. Because I happen to believe
yeah,
this, that if God is getting ready uh to pour out wonderful growth on us in the fall, man, we better have our internal
yeah,
life fortified enough
yeah.
to handle that. What do you think about that idea about
Absolutely.
using it to work on our
Yeah.
walk with the Lord?
Well, and think of just the opposite. Like I'm not working on the depth of my own heart with Jesus. I'm frantically trying to reverse what feels like decline, and it's not. It's for those of you that are watching. All churches grow in a camelback rhythm. So there's spring it
Yeah,
goes up, summer it goes down, fall it goes up, winter it goes down. That's the normal camelback growth.
yeah,
So if it goes up in the spring, Easter, Mother's Day, man, I'm a good pastor. We're successful. June 1st,
yeah,
the plane is crashing. Well, it's not. If you haven't been around long enough to compare this year's numbers to last 5 years' numbers, then you
right.
really don't know if you're growing or shrinking anyway. Because a good Sunday doesn't mean you're growing, and a bad Sunday doesn't mean you're shrinking. But you're right. When it comes time for fall, and that people they're wanting to get back into a good rhythm. Our kids are back in school, bedtimes are there, vacations are over
Yep,
with, and they're beginning their new normal. Now that's where we lose a lot of people because we're so tired from overworking all summer long that we forget to really prepare for the back to school, the new thing, the
yeah,
series in September, October. That's just the best series of the year, where we want people to come back and establish those rhythms for the next 9 months because they came in the fall. They'll be there for the next 9 months back to June again. So we're not saying ignore the summer, but if you focus on we're going to grow this summer, you really are fighting what is normally a downward trend. And like you were saying, if you, I did the same thing. I said up north, don't go up north. Frankenmuth is evil. West Branch has fleas. Mackinac Island, there's fires there every day. I just make a joke. You go to Mackinac Island, may the fleas of 1,000 camels infest your armpits. If you go up north, and it's just kind of a joke, but it was a passive aggressive joke,
Yeah.
So I just decided, hey, I hope you guys, just so you know, we're going to make things simple this summer because we want you to spend a lot of time with your families. We want you to make
Yeah.
memories with your kids.
So good.
We're gonna facilitate some of that. We're gonna have a campfire night. We're gonna have an all night prayer vigil out in the woods. We're gonna have we're gonna do one series all summer long. So it's gonna be, we did like why is greater than what all summer long. Recruiting and releasing. We did the Romans, all 13 chapters over 13 weeks. We did, but it simplifies my preaching schedule. And if you miss one week, you kind of know what you missed because you missed Romans 3. You read
Yeah.
Romans 3 and you come back for Romans 4. So people stay connected even if they miss several weeks. But that thought of just keeping it simple, not fighting it,
Right.
applauding, blessing people as they go away for 2, 3 weeks,
Yep.
you're a better pastor. And then when they come back not feeling guilted because they've been gone, not having missed anything because you've been preaching a series, not having to feel like they've betrayed you in some way. So bless
Yeah.
them. And you may have to simplify some things. Your children's ministry may be simpler in the summer. You may get rid of small groups all summer long,
Yeah, I
or you
know,
may have
and there are
groups
a
that are
lot
only
of
four in
churches.
the summer.
There are a
Yeah,
lot of churches that do that.
yeah,
And so I would say if we could look at summer as an opportunity for
it
us to
is.
work on ourselves,
Yeah,
our walk with God. You mentioned it a little bit ago. You didn't use these words, but in essence, this is what you said, to work on our most important human relationships,
yes, yes,
because there's
absolutely.
more time, there's more daylight. There's
Yeah,
more daylight to go for walks. The weather's better here in
yeah,
Michigan. It's more conducive
yeah,
to and then I think also looking at summer as an opportunity to just care for yourself, body, mind,
yes,
and spirit, right? Taking care
yeah,
of yourself. I get more exercise, Jim. I get more exercise in the summer than I do in the
yeah,
winter. Um,
yeah,
just a fact of life. And Laura and I, the weather's been so good the last 5 days. Laura and I have been out for 2.5 miles every evening. It just, my sleep is pretty much better, when I'm
yeah,
doing that. So we want to
yeah,
encourage you to have posture towards summer that's not focused on where
yeah.
is everybody,
Yes,
but where am I?
yeah,
This is an opportunity for me to recalibrate, to
yeah,
refresh. And we're going to talk in the next pod about vacation, your vacation, and how to get ready for that. Um,
yeah.
that's one area, the personal side. Jim, what's the organizational side? Now, you've given a lot
Hmm.
of like some ideas about simplifying
Yeah.
and things like that. But what about this idea? I'm really interested in your thoughts. Is it potentially a good idea for summer to be a time where we evaluate?
Yeah.
Where we evaluate our systems, maybe our structure somewhat in preparation for fall. What do you think about
Yeah.
that as maybe a
Yes.
solid idea for summer?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And again, if you're watching this, makes sense. If you're not, just that pulling the bow back, the tension increases with the greater amount of time and energy you put into it. Then you let it go, and that same the arrow shoots based on the tension. You could take summer and say if failure wasn't an option, we could do the things, we could afford the things, we have the right people. What would September, October look like this year? And I think they make a mistake. They think we're going to make this New Year's resolution. We're going to look at the calendar year, and there's something to that. But the church doesn't operate on a calendar year. There's not much difference between October and February. I mean, there's some
Mhm.
deer hunting or something like that, but
Right.
once that rhythm is established in the fall, it will carry you all the way through back again to late spring, early summer, back to June. So I do think I think that's the best time. Probably not for your finances, probably not for your giving statements. A
Right.
fiscal year, a business year is different, but a ministry calendar,
Yeah.
I believe wholeheartedly that summertime, take some walks, grab a canoe, float down a river, drive up north, or drive through Ohio. You don't even need your steering wheel; it's just flat and straight. Go, take a nap while you're driving. No one would know that with Tesla or not. But that I get my best ideas on a lawnmower. I get my best ideas on a
Mm.
long walk or a long run. I get my
Yeah.
best ideas driving across something where my brain's occupied, but not that part of my soul. I don't have to think about this, but there's nothing else to think about. And so I begin to feel like that's when God talks to me is when I'm quiet in certain places. So those are great times to refocus, recalibrate, and then too, everybody has time. So let's say you're going to start a new ministry, you need a new leader for that. Invite them over to your house for dinner. If you got a pool, if you got a dog, if you got a yard, if you got a, but that you're sharing, you can go till 10 o'clock at night. It's still daylight. And so they come over to the home, you share your heart, you share your vision because you have the time to do that. So trying to keep a normal schedule 12 months out of the year, I think is not a natural or a God natured rhythm. I don't think we're created to go, 7 days. God created seasons for a
Right.
reason. And I think if you're fighting summer, even if you live in Arizona where nobody wants to go outside, it's kind of like their winter to us here.
Yeah.
The kids are still out of school. Rhythms are everybody's off. Everybody's going to travel when the kids are out of school. So it is a great opportunity or a terrible lie to tell yourself that I'm not a good pastor because our numbers have gone down in the summer. It's artificial, self-imposed failure, and it's not real.
So we would encourage you to look at maybe some systems, uh,
Yeah,
and evaluate. I have an idea or two there, Jim. Here's a system that I
yeah,
think the summertime would be wonderful to evaluate, and that's your guest experience.
yes, yeah,
Guest experience, and here's some things, here's some reflective questions in that area, just asking yourself and your team, what is the current round trip experience for guests?
yeah,
And what I mean by round trip is from the parking lot to their seat in the worship center and then back to the parking lot.
yeah,
What does that round trip look like? Is it a pleasant experience
yeah,
for guests? I think this a great guest experience is structured to reduce a guest's anxiety.
yes, yeah,
And so thinking about, is it hard to find parking? Is it hard to find the
yeah,
entrance? What do they experience when they walk in? Is it are the people who are greeting and helping to direct traffic, are they pleasant? Are they hospitable? Are they
yeah,
friendly? Are they friendly without being weird? Um,
yeah. Right.
is the signage
Yeah,
is it easy to look at? And all of that. what
yeah,
what is the experience? Where are the gaps?
yeah,
And and in crafting, I like to call it a flawless best experience,
yeah.
is totally within your power as a leader. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money to do it. What it costs
No,
is a lot of mental capital,
yeah,
um, a lot of thinking capital. And so here's some of the things I think about when I go to a church, when we go to a church to consult. I mean, we go into that scenario as guests. We go
yeah,
on a Sunday.
yeah,
And we want to feel, what's a guest feel like? We walk, we don't tell anybody we're there. The only person who knows we're there really is the lead pastor. And
yeah,
and so we secret shop. And here's
yeah,
some of the things that we're looking for. You know, again, is there adequate parking? Do I know which door to go into?
yeah,
Is the building clean? Is the
yes,
outside appealing? Uh,
yeah,
how are the greeters? What's the worship experience like? Is
yeah,
language being used and are that I don't understand? Are things happening
yeah,
that I don't get? And is that being explained? Or is it
right,
just being assumed that I know the
yeah,
secret code,
yeah,
to the language and the activities that are happening? Um, so is it easy for me to take the next step, like filling out a guest form? Uh, you know, And then on my way, so these are just some of the things that we look at. Is it
yeah,
is it easy? Is it anxiety? I don't know if anxiety free is possible, but is it a low anxiety
yeah,
experience for our guests? Jim, what do you think about that as a maybe
yeah,
an area to explore in summer in preparation for the
yeah.
fall?
I think that's a great idea anytime. But again, if you're backing off of certain things, it gives you bandwidth to do some other things.
Correct.
Getting ready again for the September, October decisions to re-engage or engage in church as a normal rhythm to your family. So yeah, I think that's a good one. All of that is good. I think even beyond that, if somebody did fill out a card, how long did it take for someone to respond
Yeah.
to that card? What is your
Correct.
guest follow up? We have a system now where somebody gives a gift, any gift, they put 30 cents in an offering envelope that costs us 35 cents. They get a note of some sort saying, you're a first time contributor. We're so grateful, that you've seen the vision too. But yeah, all those things. We're first time guests, the experiences, pastoral care, follow up, training. Again, I think in the summertime, so people be on vacation, trainings don't have to be 12 weeks long. They can be, one summer we did leadership training on Sunday morning for 12 weeks. That's what we did. And now you're not all leaders here, but we're hoping that someday every person here that's on the receiving end will be on the giving end. So we're going to talk about 12 things we value in our culture for our leaders. And I did leadership training all summer long, so people knew what a leader was expected to do, and if they wanted to or not, opportunities were given on a regular basis. So anything like that, to me, summer's the best season of the year. That 3 weeks in Michigan we call summer, but that 12 weeks, of our calendar we call summer. It is a great time to grow better, to grow deeper, to grow wider. Will come if you do the summertime work in the summertime. God will do the fall time work in the harvest time. And if you're not ready for it, then people show up in September, October. You're not ready for them. No one called me back. I'm confused. I couldn't find the bathroom. It smells funny. The kids are screaming. I couldn't pay attention to the sermon because it was so hot. All these things that people would say, I don't want to go back again. Let's take the student, your online experience, because the front door of the church is no longer the front door of the church. It's churches in Fenton. You Google it, something comes up, you click on a few, you see what the service looks like. I mean, if you want to make a drastic difference in your visitor, the number of people that would actually visit your church, take the summer and make the online thing better. Yep. Just the online would pay dividends off in September or October. So,
and I would suggest, Jim, that you don't work on 3 systems in the summer.
No.
Just pick one.
Yeah.
Just pick one. So it could be the guest experience, the online experience being part of the guest experience. It could be maybe this summer you're just going to say, hey, we're going to take a look at our playbook.
Yeah.
As a team, let's be brutally honest. What plays are working?
Yeah.
And how can we make those even better?
Yeah.
What plays aren't working? Why aren't they working? Do they need tweaking? Do they need maybe some resourcing? Or maybe do they need to be sunset?
Yeah.
And so we're not telling you to look at all the systems in your church during the summer. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Because you'll go into fall crawling on your hands and knees. But I do think it's an opportunity for a leader to take a look at maybe one system and say, we're going to really take a good, long, hard look at this and see how we can make it better so that when we get to the fall, that system rock solid.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great advice, John. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So Jim, and that kind of leads us into next week, where I want to talk about how to get ready for a vacation. That might seem like, why are you guys even spending time on that? Well, it's because of my own experience.
Yeah.
Difficulty learning how to relax on vacation, and in hundreds of conversations over the last year of pastors saying, man, I went on vacation and the whole thing blew up. I went on vacation and I wasn't prepared for this. I don't know how to get ready for time off. And so I'd like to spend 188 talking about that. So Jim, would you wrap us up?
Yeah. So back to the thought of how can we help you? Because that's what this podcast is for us, is, useful instrumental things that help you lead better, lead longer, and have better fun, more fun, enjoying the fruitfulness of it. So sometimes, like, I don't know what to do next. I wouldn't know. I cannot walk into my church for the first time because I've been here for 20 years. I won't see it. I don't see it anymore. It's there, but I don't see it. So things like the consulting side of this, where we do send the secret shopper, and a report is drafted to tell you these are the areas we think we could help you with. Just calling and saying, hey, what's everybody working on this summer that maybe I could get a part of a group of guys like John would know, we would know, the people that are working on those things. What's the best series you ever preached? Just anything that Converge can do to help you. Or, hey, I got this idea, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea. Go to convergecoach.com. The first thing will come up is a links page, 30-minute conversation with one of us or one of our teammates, and we'll help you with that. We exist for the purpose of helping you enjoy, grow, be fruitful as a leader. So we'd love to be a part of that miracle of summer 2023. And if you're in Arizona, man, it's almost Christmas again. So hang in there. Another 6 months, and you'll be able to go outside without dying. So, but here it's beautiful. So, God bless you, our dear listeners and watchers. We're praying for you. Keep going. It is Tuesday, and you haven't quit. That means you're a leader. So God bless you, and as you continue to lead from alignment.